Hello. So you are now looking at the second question from the from question 3. So the first thing we do is we fill in all the obvious numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Next, let me get. Next, what we do is let us draw the numbers there. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, let's do the obvious again. So state 0 to 1, this is A. 0 to itself is B and C. Okay, so with that, let us fill out the numbers. So this will be 0. Sorry. This will be 0 and 0. So we have fill up the column. The next thing we want to do is to fill up the I. So we update the I over here, the I, and let's try to see if I can read here. And we update X. So X will first be placed here. The next step we do is from state 1, we go to state 2. From state 1 to 2, what we do is we have A, and we look at our state X. At B and C, it remains at state 0, and so we can simply update this to be both 0 and 0, and this will be B and C. The next thing we do is we increment the value of I. So let's move the I here, and we increment the value of I over here. And then the next thing is we want to update the value of X. X on seeing A will move over to state number 1. Next, from state 2 to state 3, we have a C. What will happen to state X if it sees a A? If it sees a A, it's going to go to 2. So if it sees A, it will go to 2. If it sees a B, it will go back to 0. So if it sees a B, it will go back to 0. So let's fill this up. So this will be 0. This will be 0, and this will be 2. We increment the value of I. We increment the value of I, and we update X. What will X be if it sees a C at this point? If it sees a C at this point, X is going to go all the way back to 0. Okay, so at this point, X will go back to 0. So we go on to the next step. What will we see in how will state 3 go to state 4? State 3 will go to state 4 if I have a A. If for state 3, if I see a A or a C, what will happen? If if I see A, it will go to 4. If I see a B or a C, what will happen? If I see either a B or a C, state X will continue to stay at state 0, and so this will go to 0. B and C. So I'm going to update here. So this will be 0 and 0. So I've updated my column. I'm going to update my I variable. update my I variable. I can move this. Okay. I update my I variable. And what will happen to my X variable if I see a letter A? Is going to go to state 1. Okay. Next, from 4 to 5, it will be letter A. From 4 to 5 is going to be letter A. So what will happen if state X sees either B or C, is going to go to state 0. So this will also go to state 0. Similarly, I will update this to 0 and 0. I will increment my I, increment my I, and update my X. X, if I see a state character A, is going to go to state 2. Okay, so from 5 to 6, this will be another A. So if I see a B at state 2, it's going to go all the way to 0. So this will be B. If I see a C at state 2, this is going to go to state 3. Okay, so this is actually the crux of the algorithm. Yeah, it has actually remembered that we can go back to state 3 instead of going all the way back to state 0. Okay, so let's update the values. If it's B, it will go to 0. If it's C, it will go to 3. Now we updated the column. We update the value of I. And let me get this over. And we update the value of X as well. If X sees A, it's going to stay at state 2, so no change. Okay, next. From 6 to 7, this will be B. So at X, if I see a state A, it's going to stay at state 2. So this will continue to stay at state 2 if I see an A. If I see a C, it will go to state 3 again. So if I see a C, this will go to state 3 again. So this will go to 3. If I see A, it's going to go to 2. Okay, so we have filled up our column. We update I to this. I will come over here as well. And we update the value of X. What will happen to X if I were to see a B? If I were to see a B, this will go to all the way to 0. So this would then go all the way to 0. And so unfortunately it goes back but it goes back to 0 as a matter of fact. So from 7 to 8, this will be A. Okay, and from for this, if I have B or C, X at B or C will stay at state 0. So this will be B or C. And this is the end of question part 2 of question number 3.